Many tutorials today tell you about print and open functions in Python. So with print you can simply print an information in your terminal, and with open you can simply open a file to write or read it. But there is more about these two functions, and today I'll explain you how print and open work. So let's start. First of all, let's start with print. So, by default, print is a function which prints an information to our terminal or to our console. And let's run our code and we will see 10, because I wrote 10 here. But then let's write, for example, another 10 or hello. And we can provide values between commas, 10, white space, hello, because of Python unpacking and args features. Then we can separate these values. And by default our separator, so sep, is equals to white space, and because of that we see 10 white space hello. But we can, for example, change it to be semicolon, and let's run it again, 10 semicolon hello. Okay, and there is another argument which is called end. So end, it's an argument which by default is /end, and I don't know how it's called in English, but I'll show you. So if I write another print here, so another function print here, first of all, 10 hello of the first print is on the one row, and 1, so the other print function, is on the another row. So separator between rows. But we can write, for example, white space, and now let's have a look. Our values are stacked. Many tutorials explain that. But there is another argument in print function, and it's called file. So by default, in Python we have sys module, which tells us some information about our system and so on. But in sys module we have some cool things. For example, sys.stdout. So stdout, it's stream to write an information to our console. And for example, if I run my Python script on Linux, my stdout will be different from if I run my code on Windows. Now I'm on Windows, and you know, there is not much differences. Python can be run on any platform, but when we will go deeper, there is lots of differences between Linux and Windows stdout. But for now, you have to think of stdout as a stream where we print our information. And by default, file is equals to sys.stdout. And what will happen if I run my code now? Nothing changed, except I removed print1, so we don't have print1. Okay, there is another stream in Python. It's called stderr. It's a stream for writing some errors in our system. And if I run my code again, as you can see, 10 and hello are in red now, because by default Windows marks any error in red, or colors any error in red. How we can manipulate with streams in Python? We can open a file. Have you ever wondered what an open file will return to you? So I have a file, it's an empty file, and I'll open it to read it. So file err. And now let's file equals file open err, and we should close it, or we must close it once we finished the work with it. What is actually a file? Now I'll change it to be file to write in file. And what if I'll change my file argument in my print function to be the file I opened? Now let's have a look. I'll run, nothing happened. Print didn't work, or what happened? Let's have a look at our file. It says 10 and hello. So what actually print does in Python? It's writing. So print writes an information to a stream. And by default our stream is sys.stdout, okay? But we can change it to be our file, so we can provide open right here, or open, we have an open file, and I'll just print file. And now we can write an information to our file, and we can choose whatever mode we want. So A in Python, it's an appending, and if I run, for example, my code 3 times, you will see that we have 4, 10 and hello separated with semicolon, because we opened our file with v and then we appended. So append adds some information to our stream, to our file. Okay, and let's have a look at type of our file. So I run print type, and I'll provide file here. So type function is a function, and when we provide file, so type function will show what type of our file is. And let's run again. Class text.io wrapper. Now we can think of text.io wrapper as an input-output stream with an encoding. Okay, so we can provide encoding here. For example, I'm Russian and I can write "Привет" here, which means hello in Russian. And if I run my file now, so let's read it, and I run print file.read. So I read all the information from my file. It will say, it will show some, so it won't show "Привет." And we can provide an encoding, for example, encoding equals to UTF-8. And now, let's run again. You can see "Привет," which means hello. And that's how text.io wrapper works. I'll have a deeper video about IO module in Python, but for now but now you understand that open and print function work with streams in Python, as it does it in C++, for example, or any other language. Many of you know that file has some cool methods like write, close, readable, or no, read, readable. So these methods work with Python very well, work with files in Python. But the main thing is we can use these methods with our stdout, so sys.stdout, because stdout, it's, let's print again, so I'll print type of my stdout, let's print, and as you can see it says again text.io wrapper. So stdout and file are one class, and what we can do is sys.stdout, or we can import, from sys import stdout. We can simply write in it, so stdout write, and if I write, for example, hello here, let's have a look at our terminal, it says hello. We can write lines, so I will provide a list of lines, for example, hello, bye. And now we can see hello, bye, but they are stacked together because we have no separator. We can close our stdout, so for example, stdout close, and now what we can't do is print anything. So I run print. As you can see, IO operation on closed file because our stream is already closed. We can do whatever we want as we do it in file. So for example, we can use function readable to know if our stdout stream is readable or is writable. So can we write or read from it or to it? And we can use stdin. So stdin, it's kind of opposite of stdout. When we use input in Python, it uses stdin stream to get some information from user. For example, stdin read, and let's print. So now what I will do is, let's have a look. Free. I can type whatever I want because stdin is a stream. And if I run, for example, file.read, and if I run file.read function will read the whole file. But when we do it with stdin, we cannot close our stream because we have never typed in std close. And because of that, stdin waits until it's closed. Or we can provide, so for example, if I will provide one symbol here, what will happen? I will write error, and as you can see, it prints error because I printed it. We can read lines, so we can do whatever we want. stdin, stdout, and stdr are similar to files because they are inherited from one class. And that's the main interesting thing about Python itself. Good luck!